Hey guys, welcome. You are on the JRB Tree Climbing channel. Please refer to my website, jrbtreeclimbing.com. I say it at the beginning of every video, but that is really the best place to go, even to watch these videos. You might be watching them on your big screen TV in the living room at home, and that's fine. But if you want to find the latest and greatest information and see how it fits together, you can watch the videos right from the website. My Patreon is where I accept support from those of you who want to support me with some dollars and cents for all of the work I've been doing to deliver you new and better and improved and safe systems. This video I'm entitling Hitch Climbing 2025, and I do want you to refer to the video from last year, Hitch Climbing 2024. I'm a little surprised and happy at how many improvements I've been able to make to the hitch climbing method. What's hitch climbing, you ask? I climb trees many ways. This is actually one of my least favorite ways to climb trees. When possible, I always use a throw ball or a paracord preset and just rope climb. But when the tree or the situation doesn't afford one, so here's a tree, the nearest crotch is 50 feet up, and I just want to climb a telephone pole tree without a climbing sticks or anything else, I'm going to use an alternating anchor method. So I'm going to demonstrate a bunch of changes, and as I identify them, we'll enumerate them on the overlay. This is how I walk into the woods, right? I don't use a backpack. I do wear a small crossbody bag when I'm hunting, but I got my bow in my hands, and I don't need a pack to put my rope in because it's on my bridge on my back and my Maverick pole's on my side. Okay, so the first change is that this year I'll be climbing on my new 3-hitch system. It's soon going to be available from 8 Canyon thanks to your support in different kits and different lengths. This is the 40-foot system, and I will warn you that depending on your anchor choice, 40 foot might not quite be enough rope to retrieve your system depending on how many branches are on the tree. The second change is that I've got a new Maverick pole. This Maverick pole will be available at 8 Canyon Outfitters. They're being built as I make this video, and we'll get them in inventory and available to you as soon as possible. In the meantime, the old one remains on sale. But the new Maverick pole extends out from 33 inches closed to 99 inches extended. It's got one extra section and only weighs 1.5 pounds. The third change is we've got a whole bunch of new anchors. Did you see all the new trunk anchors that I've released? Don't get me wrong, I love the Maverick hitch, but you've got the Super Maverick hitch now, you've got the Allegheny hitch, and here what I've done on my 3-hitch system is I've pre-tied, that's a cowboy bowline, about 1 foot of length, and this is the Bloodgood hitch. Now see the detailed video for how to affix it. But it's just a carabiner toggle. And this extra hitch 1 in my 3-hitch system, well, I just got it squashed in there. It's just going to sit in there and really not bother me. But let's take a look at how this anchor goes up in the tree with the new Maverick pole. This tree has got marks on it approximately every 5 feet, or exactly every 5 feet. So you can get an idea at what height I can set this hitch. Now that I've got it as far as I can reach, I'm going to pull down on the rope while pushing up on the pole. And I'll set it. Right about there. I really like this Bloodgood hitch because I have the option of leaving my pole there or removing my pole, and with the ease of removal, that's what I've been doing. It's possible to catch it with your foot and knock it off, and so this is just simpler. So I'll be executing this climb on the Bloodgood hitch. you could use any of the other anchors. You can mix and match the anchors. You could use the Allegheny for your first hitch, and you could rappel off of the Maverick hitch or one of the variants. What I'd like to show you now is another minor change, and that is this Longhorn Agile hitch is tied in the stable mode. And by stable, it's still nice and compact like the compact Longhorn Agile. I don't need to leave a carabiner on there in order for it to remain stable. Another change, and this is up to you, it has to do with redundancy and should you choose to use it. So this is my long bridge, right? I might want to leave that over my neck and climb non-redundant, or I might want to clip it on and to my garter hitch. I want to make sure you have the option of knowing you can make your first move without redundancy. This is my short bridge. This is the Blake's Hitch Tensioner Bridge, which when hitch climbing, right now I'm going to ask you to zoom in here and get a little better look at this. When I climb, I got detailed pictures on the bridge page. When I have it in munter mode, I have it crossing over the two strands in my bridge. But when hitch climbing, I like my bridge really short. And so I'm going to make it short. I'm going to make it short almost like a loose belt. That'll allow me to get really close to the rope. And when hitch climbing, if you could see this, I'm going to engage my carabiner. I'm going to grab the Longhorn Agile hitch and the rope. And that allows me to stay really close to the tree and not pull away from it. The next change, and it's not a major change, but I mentioned it in the last video, is that we can climb with 1 foot or 2. This is the JRB Garda Hitch Foot Loop in its long mode, right? This is the way I use it in SRT or DSRT. It's tied such that when I put my finger through the carabiners, I touch my belly button. But when I climb in hitch climbing mode, I want this to be shorter. So I simply transform it. Pull the transformation loop out and put it in. And now I'm going to climb with 2 feet. And the reason I'm doing it this way, I had enough practice last year. Every once in a while there will be a tree where it's difficult to advance your other hitch and you need to take a rest, and this has happened to me, a deer comes in. I'm in the middle of climbing a tree and a deer comes in and you just want to be comfortable and still. And so it's better to have 2 feet than 1. And so the way I'm going to orient this is I'm going to put the transformation loop towards the tree. I'll put my right foot on the right side, left foot on the left side, and engage it on the rope as per the instructions you're likely already familiar with. And now I'm going to start my climb. Let's talk about that long bridge. You have the option. There's really no sense not doing so. You can clip it onto your garter hitch and shorten it as appropriate. But in terms of recovery geometry, you'd be pretty squashed up. I've been doing a lot of climbs with no redundancy on my first move. It's up to you. So this one will just go non-redundant. Okay, so this will look a little bit like a frog-like move. It's not as efficient as a normal SRT, but we want to maximize our vertical reach. So here's how the 2 foot goes. One hand on the tree, pull up your garter while raising your feet, and up. And you're about to see this as I get higher. But one of the things I realized last year, and it was a motivation for the longer pole, is that most hunters aren't climbing to 20 feet. Most hunters seem to prefer a height of 18 feet or so. And this Maverick pole is going to allow me to reach high enough with my first and my second set that I can get to a platform set at around 18 feet in just one transfer or one move. I bring my hitch up until it's very close to, but not touching, about an inch of space from my anchor. Always want to have room in there to reach in and break it if I've got to come down for an emergency rappel. I'll use some text overlays. I can't really see the stripes as well as you can. My feet are at 10, this is 15, so my anchor's set around 14 feet. Here's my next blood good. Now that I'm off the ground, I can have all these sections extended. Okay, now if I want that to go absolutely as high as possible, like right now I'm in a really comfortable position, but if I wanted to just reach a little bit higher, I could raise up my Garda. But what I've figured out is with this new pole and having that extra 2 feet of reach, as long as you get your bridge kind of horizontal on this set, I'm not really fighting as hard for every inch. I'm just going to reach as high as I can. And I'll set that on the tree. Now, I'm not going to climb this tree 7 times. There's a lot of things we could do. If you needed to go higher, you could do as many transfers as you want. Refer to last year's video for that. But what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to transfer onto my main bridge, because that's where I'll be spending my time. And the transfer is a lot easier. Here's the other hitch in the 3-hitch system. I clip into it. This time I don't need to engage the rope, because this is going to be a pretty standard SRT climb. And as per the prior video, in a safe climbing alternating anchor scheme, I'm not going to remove the lower anchor until I fully load my upper anchor. So let's do that. You can see my weight is now on my upper bridge. That's a really easy transfer, and I only have to do one of them. So I've removed the lower anchor completely, and now I'm going to take my Garda hitch. And I've learned the hard way that once you set a platform on the tree and you want to pass it, it's easier to do with your Garda full length. So careful not to drop it. I mean, if I did, it wouldn't be jeopardize my safety. But I'm going to switch back to full-on SRT mode and connect my redundancy. This longer foot loop and redundancy going to give me a little bit more room to pass my platform as I put it on the tree. So you've got to get fairly good at judging your platform height relative to your anchor. I like to have mine, over my head. Now we can always raise it up a little bit, but it's really nice to nail it the first time if possible. So I can't see those marks. I'm just going to be guessing here that this is a pretty good height for my anchor. And I'll overlay the height of that. So I think I've got my platform roughly 17.5 feet. Now recognize I could put it on anywhere, right? I didn't have to stop there. I could have put it on here, or I could put it on higher. You see, I like my anchor a little higher than the next person. If you like your anchor a little closer to your chest, you would have simply put your platform on at a different height. But if you've seen my video on shot positioning, I like the ability to be able to step in and get under. So again, you're in the weak side position. Strong side shots are easy, but I like to be able to work the tree I could stand in this position indefinitely. It's a great way to take a break. And on the weak side, I can just stand here indefinitely and be ready for that shot. Okay. Now, in this video, we're not going to go over all the options for, well, what do you do with your pole? Well, the easiest thing to do is just hook it on your line. You got to find a little snag in the bark and leave it there. John, what do you like to do with your climbing rope? Again, if there's a crotch or something, you just drape your rope into the crotch, but you don't leave it hang down. If you have nothing at all, you can, right, we got a lot of tools in our toolbox. We can simply attach it to the tree. By whatever anchor you prefer. I've got the blood good, so I might as well use the blood good. And then I could just gather up my rope. That's fine. There's 100 ways to store your rope, but don't let it down to the ground, because trust me, a wary deer will notice that. Okay, that's the gist of it. We could go higher, we could go lower. I'm going to come on down. First step is to remove my garda and engage the munter. Now, even though I usually like my carabiner in a transverse orientation, remember my rule that you never want to be able to drop something. So I'm not going to. I'm going to simply engage the munter with the carabiner as it is. And I'm going to get my retrieval cord. Got my retrieval cord, and it is attached to the blood good hitch as per my instructions. We've had a couple people trying out the blood good hitch, and their loop wasn't big enough. That loop has got to be about 1 foot in size. That's going to allow this to effectively unset as I retrieve it. So regarding the anchors, again, there's nothing wrong with the Maverick, and I recently have been climbing with the new flipped Maverick variant. There's nothing wrong with them, but this blood good hitch is simpler to affix, right? If knot tying is not your thing, and the thought of tying a life-sustaining knot in the woods is intimidating, then you're not going to want to execute that. You're going to want to safely retrieve the blood good or something more conservative. Okay, so let's have you watch me retrieve this now. So I want you to recognize that there is some rope here on the ground, but not a ton of it. If there was a branch or an impediment, as soon as I break this blood good hitch, I might have to pull it all the way down to me, and I might just have enough rope to retrieve. And so I do encourage you to, do the math, head over to the website. I've done some of the calculations for you. If you're using the blood good hitch and you're going to just this height, 17.5 feet or so, you're probably maybe 42 feet of rope is enough. But I encourage all of you to think about whether or not a hybrid system wouldn't be even better, because that really opens the door to you doing some things like DSRT, my preferred way of climbing. It's really not a lot of rope, and you're really going to love this new Rubicon rope from Ape Canyon Outfitters. Okay, so I believe that it would be a little easier if I could retrieve this by walking into that direction, but look, I've set up near a bunch of multi-floor rows. I can't walk that way. So let's look at how difficult it is for me to break this here right beneath the tree. I'll step away a bit, and with my left hand, that didn't take much, right? That didn't take much. Now, there's not a lot on this tree to get hung up. and so it just comes right down. But at any point, it could have gotten hung up, right? It could have, and I might have had to keep pulling and keep pulling and keep pulling. And you can get a fair idea at you know, how much rope we have. So that's one of the reasons that I do recommend a little bit more rope. I think you're going to love a 60-foot hybrid system. Okay, I'll take care of cleaning this up. I wanted you to, you know, just have a demo. We'll do another one where I'm dealing with some branches. If there's too many branches, then we'll probably would have used a throw ball to begin with, right? We got to adapt our climbing style to the tree. And I can't possibly give you all of the options, but I will say, now with the Bloodgood, I can't really see a good reason to recommend you use the JRB cinch anymore. It's just too much of a clink factor, and it's less permanent. It's much easier for me to transform this system back into a DSRT or an SRT system simply by removing that cowboy bowline, right? I'm ready to climb DSRT or SRT. All right, guys, you got questions? Let me know. You can leave comments on the video. You can leave comments on the website. You can leave comments in my Facebook group, jrbtreeclimbing.com. Thank you.